hello, hello.
Hi,
Happy
everybody.
Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. My name is LaKeesha Hines, and you're watching SOS, where we are saving sex lives one bedroom at a time. Today, I have the wonderful, the beautiful, the illustrious, the famous Mrs. Jewel Smith with me today. Say hello to the people, Jewel. Unmute.
I'm sorry. Good morning. Oh, good afternoon. I finally get a chance to transition into SOS. How about that? Loving this, Keisha.
I know. Listen, I'm so excited, and I know that the people are going to be super excited as well to see you. So thank you so much for joining me today. We have some good stuff to talk to you all about today. I just really think you're gonna love it. I think it's gonna bless you. But before we get started, we're gonna take a quick break because I want to talk to you guys about some things, and then we'll come back and dive into our topic. So don't swipe left or right. Stay there. We'll be right back.
We're really excited about Foundation. It is a new group program where couples are gathering from all around the world twice a week, couples who just want to have a thriving, successful, amazing marriage. No really well-built house is built without a foundation. As a matter of fact, without a foundation, it can't stand. It would just crumble right into the ground. We are going to interview experts and other successful couples so that you can get a glimpse into the lives of other people who are doing what it is that you desire to do, who have and who are accomplishing what it is that you want to accomplish. And we also have over 500 videos available for you to watch of all of our teaching. Everything that we've ever done, every topic that we've ever covered will be accessible to you.
So guys, if this sounds exciting to you and if this sounds like something you've been waiting for, go ahead and just give it a try. We're literally giving away a 15-day trial for $1. And then after that, it's simply $3 a day. And so, is your marriage worth it? Is your future worth it? Join the community today. Just click that button and meet us on the other side.
All right. So that was foundations. And, I've mentioned this to you all a couple times about foundations, but I really, really want to give you a little bit more information about it because I really think, it's some people still trying to figure out what's going on. What is it? What is it all about? And so I really want to give you all an opportunity to get a front row seat in terms of what foundations is and what it's there for. So we have couples who really never had premarital counseling, or if they did, they didn't really get very much out of it, or maybe they weren't paying attention while they were there. They're just like, let's just hurry up and get to the marriage stuff. and they didn't really have a solid foundation. And so we know when we're building a home, if our home does not have a solid foundation, then it will crack. That house will crumble and it will fall apart. And that's what's happened with a lot of couples that come to Couples Academy. So it's not too late for you to reset your foundation, for you to create a new foundation, for you to fill in the cracks, right, that are in there. And that's really what foundation does. It gives you foundational items to help you to navigate this married life. There are topics from trust to forgiveness to emotional needs to pretty much everything that you need to have a successful marriage and relationship. So the thing is, you can join for only $1. Like, I'm just saying, like, what do you have to lose? Literally, you can join for only $1. So try it out. Julie, you want to chime in? You want to say anything?
I was just getting ready to say that it gives you a community. For some reason, people think that they're the only ones that have gone through the things that they've gone through. And to have that support and have that, that community that you can talk to and that, you can bounce ideals off of in a community that has your best interest, your marriage at heart. Everybody is striving for a better marriage. What else is there? That's the best type of community to have. Everybody is going in the same direction.
Agreed. So I'm just saying, join Foundations, try it out. You don't like it, there's no commitment to stay in, but I would rather you try it and be like, maybe not for me. Maybe you know somebody else who is for, right? So you recommend someone else versus you not trying it and you miss out on something that can really truly benefit your marriage and bless your marriage. All right. So anyway, let's go. We're ready. So the month of May, there's so many things going on in the month of May, but there's only one event, Jewel, that I care about. I mean, it's what I'm focused on for the entire month of May. And I think you know what it is.
Absolutely.
But hello, Mother's Day. Mother's Day is Sunday, May 14th. And for my fellas that are watching, if you don't have this in your calendar, if you don't have reminders and bells and whistles and things going off to remind you of Mother's Day, I'm here to help you. I want to make sure that you succeed and you are successful this Mother's Day to make sure that you do not neglect the special mom in your life, be it your wife, be it your mother, mother-in-law, whomever. You could have a daughter who's a mother, so you want to bless her as well. So why am I bringing that up? It's not till May 14th. Why are we talking about that today? Well, I'm celebrating all month. Okay, that's one thing. And the second thing is with SOS this month, this is all about the ladies. Okay, now I know I have male viewers, and that doesn't mean that you get to check out for the month of May. No, this is going to help you as well. This is going to bless you too. So if you take notes and you pay attention, I promise this is going to help you as well. So I want you to make sure that you still tune in because you will be blessed as well. So what we're talking about today is emotional neglect. Really, that's what we're talking about today. I know that the topic is help, my spouse only wants me for sex, but you know what? Here's the thing. When we are dealing with feeling as if our husbands only want us for sex, or husband, you've been accused of only being, you've been accused of only wanting your spouse for sex. It can be very hurtful on both sides, especially if that's not your goal and that's not your intent. And often the reason why women feel this way is because there's some form of emotional neglect. So that's what we're talking about today. And one of the scriptures that I will be using, that we'll be basing pretty much all of our conversations off this month, is coming from 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 4, and it says, the wife hath not power of her own body, but the husband. And likewise, also the husband hath not power of his own body, but the wife. This scripture has been taken out of context so many times, right? And we're looking at that. There's an A and a B. Okay, the A part is the wife don't have control over her body, the husband own the body, blah, blah, blah. But the B part says that likewise, the husband does not have control over his own body either. The wife does. But oftentimes, wives hear that A part and we don't get to the B part. So we don't talk about the A and the B part because we want to make sure that we understand that this is an equal thing. It's not just that the wife has to give up of herself and constantly has to give in to sex every time her husband requests. Okay, so there are times where she wants it too, and you may not feel like it, so you got to give it up as well. So, Jewel, have you heard this scripture like being used, taken out of context? What's been your experience with this?
Absolutely. That one and Hebrews 13:4, where it talks about the bedroom is undefiled. Now, I believe in the word. I truly believe in the word. But when the word is taken out of context to the degree where you can't talk to me, you can't touch me, other than when you need or want sex, and then you throw that scripture at me. That right there is a hurt piece. And yes, I've heard it from clients, and I can honestly say at one time, that was me. I just felt like, wow, only time we can connect is when you want some.
Yeah.
And it did not set me in a good headspace.
Yeah. And I think that is the worst possible way to try to connect with your spouse to get something that you want. I mean, obviously you want sex. Okay, we got that. We understand that. But to try to use Jesus to guilt me into having sex with you, that's just wrong. Like, that's not what we're doing here. Why can't we have a conversation about the importance of sex to you? The importance of us connecting on that level. Like, why can't we have that conversation? Why does it have to be about, well, Jesus said your body don't belong to you, so you just need to give it to me? Like, that's not going to cause your spouse to want to then yield, right? Or sometimes, you know, you take one for the team, but that's not going to cause her to want to take one for the team if you are trying to be manipulative and using the word against her to try to get something that you want. And that's not just sex, that's anything. That's in every area, every aspect. We should never be using the word of God to try to coerce or to manipulate our spouses into doing anything. And that's both genders. That's not gender specific. All right, so let's jump into some of the signs that there may be some emotional neglect either brewing or currently happening in the relationship. The very first one is you and your partner misread each other's true feelings, actions, thoughts, or intentions very often. And so, Jewel, I definitely want you to weigh in on this one, because I think when we're counseling couples, this comes up all the time, where one person says one thing, the other person receives it a different way. That's not what was intended. But once that person makes up in their mind that this is what they meant, it's so hard trying to get them to shift and refocus and reframe. Like, they just won't hear it any other way.
You know, Keisha, the bad part is it's really simple, because if I am hearing one thing, it is really just as simple as saying, okay, this is what I heard you say. And then 9 times out of 10, that person is going to be like, but no, that's not what I meant. This is what I heard you say.
Right.
That can right there break down all the barriers. One, because you repeated what they said. So that means you're listening. And 2, you want to understand what your spouse is saying to you. So you're giving them that opportunity to explain what they're saying, because, you know, the reality is when we hear things, sometimes we hear what we want to hear, right, and not necessarily what is being said.
Yes.
You know, so, you know, it does take that extra step to ask, to engage, to want to communicate, because once, and you are absolutely right, once they get in their mind that the person meant one thing, that person they can say it over and over and over again, and all you're going to hear is what you heard.
That's it. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing else. And so many times we misread not only the feelings, the things that we do. Sometimes, you know, when we are in a place where we think we can have a crucial conversation, and we'll ask, well, what are you thinking? Or what do you think about this? And when our spouses open up and tell us truly what they're thinking and what they're feeling, many times when it's misread, now we're in our feelings, we're offended, we're hurt, we're taking it personal, and it may not have anything to do with you per se. Right? It could be something that they are dealing with internally themselves that has absolutely nothing to do with you. For example, if you say, hey, you know, I don't feel like having sex tonight. And so that's a feeling, right? I don't feel like having sex tonight. Well, the spouse may interpret that as, you don't want me, you don't desire me, you're not attracted to me. And it may not have anything to do with that. It literally could be, I had to work all day today. Didn't go to bed. Like, I didn't sleep good last night. I'm tired. I'm not feeling well. It could mean so many other things, but we'll take that and run with it. So again, we oftentimes misread. So we have to make sure that we get very granular with what it is that the person is saying, thinking, feeling, doing, and don't assume. And I said that way on purpose.
But Keisha, just think about what you just said when you broke that down, how the explanation was, I had a long day. I had a lot of things going on. I had to come home and cook. I had to do this, this, and this. And babe, tonight, I just don't feel like having sex. That is going to be more impactful than saying, I just don't feel like having sex today. You know, so sometimes we do have to take that extra step, because it may not just be in what you're saying. It may be how you're delivering it.
Yes.
It could be in the position, the body language you're using.
Mhm.
You're like, you may not think about it, but just like, I don't feel like having sex today. I just don't feel like it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where you don't mean anything by it, but all your energy is just like you're making excuses.
Yes.
Opposed to being calm
Mhm.
and expressing why you don't feel like having sex.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with explaining.
Mhm. And I think that's good, Joel. And I think also, you know, if we try to put ourselves in the other person's shoes and try to think about, okay, what if my spouse said this to me? How would I feel? How would I want them to deliver that
Absolutely.
information to me? And I know me, I want an explanation. You're gonna have to break it down for me, brother. Like, what is going on? If you telling me no, I need to know why you telling me no. Like, what is going on? Are you okay? Is everything good? Especially, you know, if it's a man that's saying no, because that doesn't happen as often as women, you know, saying no. So I think having that conversation, breaking it down, explaining, being mindful of what you're saying and how you're saying it, and even the timing of it, I think is really important. All right, let's go to the next one. As a couple, you avoid bringing up difficult things so as not to upset the other. Ugh. Okay, are we showing up as our real, genuine, authentic selves if we avoid bringing up things just because it's difficult, because we're afraid that it may cause an argument? Okay, so I'm about to go in on some of these Enneagrams. Nines, calling all nines. I need you all to be okay with having these conversations, because if you don't, then you're leaving room for the enemy to come in and wreak havoc in your relationship. And it's just issues that are going to compile, build up, and eventually they're going to erupt.
Keisha, I just had to laugh because my husband is a 9.
Oh, I didn't know that. My bad, Brother G.
But you are absolutely right. He does not like conflict. That was, you know, he will avoid conflict in hard conversations. If that was, you know, it's just, if he knew it was coming, he out. He's not, he's out. He's either checking out where he's, you know, breaking himself down, where he don't want to hear nothing, or he's just like, oh, I got to find something to do, and he's out. But, you know, we always talk about the work days, play days, and things like that. And that's what got us to a place where we could have those type of conversations, because we made it a practice to every day or every week have those hard conversations where we just got used to it. So in getting used to it, when the conversations had to come up, when it wasn't a work day, it was easy. And it was easy. Then it took me being an 8 to say, okay, how can I say what I need to say that is of importance that you're going to be able to hear and receive?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. And, you know, again, understanding that if we avoid these conversations, we're actually doing more harm than good. You know, mentally, we're thinking, oh, if I don't have the conversation, then I'm avoiding the conflict. But really what you're doing is just setting yourself up for failure down the road. I'd rather face it head on and have success than postpone my failure. So let's go ahead, tackle it. Let's hit it head on. Let's do what we need to do. All right, quick break. We'll be right back. I told you, don't swipe left, don't swipe right. Sit right here. Don't go nowhere. We will be right back. You're watching SOS. Hello, hello. Welcome back. Welcome back. You are watching SOS. I'm LaKeesha Hines, and I'm here with the beautiful Mrs. Jules Smith, and we are talking about emotional neglect and how many times when we're in a relationship, we feel like our spouse only wants sex from us sometimes, and oftentimes we feel that way because there's stuff that's not being handled outside of the bedroom. So we're not rushing to jump into the bedroom. But we're talking about this month being all Mother's Day. Like, we're celebrating Mother's Day all this month. And the best Mother's Day gift you could possibly give your wife is marital restoration. So you need to be at Last Chance Weekend. It's not too late for you to sign up. It is the second weekend of every single month. And so you definitely have time to jump in, get in, come to Last Chance Weekend. What you got, Miss Jewel?
I was just going to say, Keisha, every time I look at that Last Chance Weekend video, I look at the couples that were broken, the couples that had the issues that we are talking about right now.
True.
And when they left there, they were equipped to have the hard conversations. They were equipped, with the tools and the community to get through all the things that had been broken, to the degree where those marriages were basically done.
Yes.
And, I just love to see it. I truly love to see it.
Same. Every time, when they come in one way, but they leave completely different. They come in looking mad, angry, barely touching each other, and then leave barely able to keep their hands off each other. So, I'm here for that. I love it. So yes, definitely sign up, join, come to Last Chance Weekend and give your marriage the facelift, the uplift, the reset your foundation, rebuild, reestablish, get rejuvenated, refreshed, and renewed. You need to do that. All right, so let's continue our conversation that we're having about emotional neglect. You haven't figured out how to argue productively. Oh my goodness. Woo! When I was trying to figure out how to have conversation with my spouse about things that pissed me off, things that hurt me, things that I didn't understand, things that, just I'm like, what is going on in this dude's head? And like, how did he not know that I would be hurt by this or that this would upset me or whatever? I had a pop off spirit. I talked about that. I've confessed multiple times and I literally would pop off and there was nothing productive that came out of that because that energy was just wrong. It was all off. And he literally was looking at me like I smelled like corn chips, fart, and vomit all at the same time. He had his nose turned up like, ugh, like, why are you talking to me like that? What is wrong with you? But I had to figure out that, I had to learn and I had to figure out how to be able to communicate to this man effectively in a way that he could receive, even if it was criticism, even if it was something that, I felt like this is the most asinine thing I ever heard in my life. Like, I can't come off like that. Like, I literally have to be like, this wasn't intentional. And I often talk about motive and intent. And what I found my biggest issue was I had the wrong motive and intent. And I also assumed that he had a different motive and intent. Does that make sense? Like, for me, it was like my motive was about, I want you to fix it, right? I want you to fix it. And I want you to never do this again. And I want you to agree with me. My intent was that we're going to walk away with you agreeing with what I said, which was wrong because I'm not even going into the conversation with the right mindset or mentality, which should be to understand. And I wasn't trying to understand. I said I was trying to understand, but that is not what I was doing. And I thought his motive and his intent was completely different from what it actually was.
Sometimes you go in with the right motive and intent, but that other individual has already had their mind made up that you mean this. Period.
Yes.
And that's not, and I don't care. We just talked about that. Is you come in all hot and heavy. I love the pop off spirit, because I was, what do you want to call it? The silent one.
Oh, you silent but deadly.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was not arguing with you, I'm coming for you. I'm just waiting, but I'm coming. So I also had to learn that that wasn't productive because one, violence doesn't get you anywhere. But
You don't say.
yeah, don't say. Um, but we couldn't communicate because, even though he didn't like confrontation, when he needed to communicate something, I wasn't trying to hear it.
Right.
I just was not trying to hear it. You did A, B, and C, and he's trying to explain to me why he did or why he said, and I just wasn't trying to hear it. And then when I was trying to hear it, I'm hearing what I'm thinking he's saying.
Yeah.
So now that I've interpreted what he was saying, now I'm ready to fight.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. And again, we're not resolving anything.
Absolutely not.
And when we're unable to resolve these issues outside of the bedroom, then we're not excited and running to jump into the bedroom, right? Because we got all this other stuff. And even if we do decide, you know what, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to have sex because I know, this what he want, whatever, we decide to do that, our mind is somewhere else. Like we're not fully present in that moment. And when you are engaging in any type of sexual activity and you are not 100% there, your spouse knows it. They feel it. They know they don't have all of you. And sometimes when a brother is in dire straits, he'll take that. But that is not ultimately what he wants. He wants that full connection with you.
I was going to say we could have the biggest fight. I mean, husband and wives can have the biggest knockdown, drag out fight, but you best to believe that brother's going to be ready to have sex and that woman is still hot. Wait a minute, we just fought for hours, 2 hours ago.
Well, they get over it quicker. They get over it quicker too.
They just like, yeah, that was 2 hours ago. Can I have some?
Exactly. Like, I'm so over that. I don't forgave you. Now let's move on. You know what, Joel? I don't know if the people don't want to talk to me because you here today. What's going on? Y'all normally let me know who you are, where you're streaming from. Nobody said hello. They just disrespectful today. I don't understand.
That's hello, because it's SOS and they want you all to themselves.
I mean, is that it? People, what's going on? Who is out there? I need to know. But anyway, let's move on. So when your conversations are mostly focused on facts, events, or logistics, there's no emotion in that. That's what that's about. That's just you've been documenting for the past 2 weeks, 2 months, everything that's been going on, and you got your evidence ready to present it. You got your facts, your receipts, right?
You in court.
Okay, exactly. And there's no emotion in that. There's nothing wrong, okay, with having facts and logistics. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a place for that. But we're talking about emotional neglect right here, which means that there is a lack of the emotional component that she needs to feel connected to you. And so while we're focused on women, this is a man thing too. Men are emotional too. You just show your emotions in a different way. You don't express them the same way that we do. And, the way that we define our emotions are not necessarily the way that you define yours. So you have them too. But again, we just express them very differently many times. So again, there's nothing wrong with having facts and being focused on logistics and being focused on events or whatever, but we still have to leave space for that emotional component. Because guess what? I got a feeling about your facts. And I have some thoughts and I have some opinions about your logistics. And the way that I experience the event may be completely different from how you experience the event. So there's still space and opportunity that needs to be created for the emotional piece, even though we have our facts, events, and logistics. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Okay. So thank you for chiming in. Thank you, Lady Z. Martinez's are here. Good morning. Thank you so much. And Mr. Lyons Sr., so good to see you back. Thank you. I think they're good points too. I'm a little biased, so I appreciate you saying it and confirming that you think they're good points. Let's move to the next. Oh, actually, Jewel, look at what time it is. Oh my gosh. We were having such a good conversation. the time just completely got away from me. So guess what? We will continue this conversation. And I tell you all the time, if there are specific topics that you want me to talk about, let me know. Somebody said something 2 weeks ago, and the very next week I discussed that topic. So I listen to you, I hear you, and if there's something that you want me to bring up on the show, I most certainly will. So ladies, where are you? Chime in. Let me know what you want to hear. Tell Hasani, let him know. so that we can make this be a show topic for you. I want to say thank you again, Jewel, for joining. Maybe she'll be back.
Hey.
But you all enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Thank you for watching, and I will see you same time, same place next week. Bye-bye, everybody. Take care.